Hi guys, Brett Latcham, Balanced Golf. I'm going to do an overview today of Rory Mcilroy's swing. Just some things that I see that I really like, and they're quite subtle, so I'm not sure if most golfers at home see what changes. But the way to shape shots, how to control the face, what really changes with these best players in the world. My hunch with Rory, I think I can show you here. So what I thought was happening is happening. He doesn't change his hands that much. He changes the way the club releases, the shaft releases, and then his angle of attack and his approach through the ball. You know, he swings down the line more for a draw and lets everything rotate and release, and he swings more left for a fade. He swings more left for an iron shot. Everything's held off more. So this shot here, I'm just going to show it through at full speed for you so you can see the full shot. It's a fade shot. You see the ball here at the end of its peak of its flight dropping off to the right. Really good shot, of course. Most of the Rory shots are. But that fade shot we saw with driver, there's certain things that I see here. It really maintains its symmetry very well throughout the complete motion. So the top, ever so slightly crossed, drops down. The shaft of the club here at this point, you can see it pointing inside the ball and behind the ball, which is what you want for a driver. You want the driver swing to be coming up at it, and you want it to be, slightly shut coming in. We can't quite see the face in this video here, but I know the face is slightly shut, which allows for the path to work that way. You can see through impact here, everything's working really square through impact. His hands are very much down the target line, and the release of the shaft is still there. It's held off some, but it's still there. Now, you have to release it to get full power out. And with the amount of draw that Rory has in this, the amount of fade that Rory has in this, it's not very much. So, it's really just an ever so slight amount of hold coming through the ball. Now this one here is a draw shot. I'll let you see this first swing here. Watch the ball heading off and turning over to the left. Now, looking at his swing, halfway down to halfway through, the shaft of the club's different in this one compared to the previous one. It's more released, it's more turned over, it's gone on by. So the shaft and its correlation to address or Rory's normal motion through impact has changed with this one. It's released, it's past him, and we can see the difference with the way his hands are working through impact with this one. It's a little more to the right, a little more down the target line, which is consistent with what most of us thought happened for a draw shot. And Rory's interesting how he produces his draw shots. He doesn't aim as far left and right as what people think you should aim. So we can see this one here is about there, and we watch his ball take off. It's moving a little bit left and then turning over. Of course, it's going to take off slightly left of the path. The fade, interestingly enough, with his alignment, it doesn't take off too far. Different to a draw. It takes off in a similar fashion. It's crossing his toe line, similar to what a draw was doing, which is not what we hear is supposed to be happening with our TrackMan friends and what they're telling us. And this is what I find really interesting, and what TrackMan doesn't necessarily see. You get a draw shot and a fade shot here, and you look at his alignment. So his alignment is really very similar. If I continued on those lines, his takeoff trajectory is really, really similar, and the ball's turning left, the ball's turning right. There's not much difference in those shots. Now, what that tells me is Rory doesn't change his alignment all that much to hit the shot shape he wants. He really changes his path a lot, and obviously how he moves the club through impact. So he swings it more left and holds on to it more for a fade, and then he swings it down the target line or maybe slightly to the right and releases it for a draw. Now when he releases it, it's an arm rotational release, it's not a hand flip release. Now Rory could not hit it as accurately as he does if he had any sort of flip motion in his swing. I'm going to jump forward here to an iron shot. And we've been looking at these fades and these draws. You look at Rory through impact here. This part of the swing is what I really want to show you guys. How far he works at left post impact with his iron shots. So much more than his driver. And we can see the exit point right through the tip of his left shoulder. Entry point still relatively shallow. But those two lines there are really perpendicular to each other, which is exactly what you want. This line here is maybe slightly inside the ball. It comes down directly down that line, exits left, swings up over his shoulder. So good players, a little more in to out, a little shallower coming into the ball for a driver, or good drivers of the ball rather. And good iron players aren't that way. Good iron players stay on top, keep it direct, working down towards the ball from halfway down. And they tend to swing it out left and hold it coming through impact. There's more of a left passing motion through impact, and that's what I see with Rory. I really like his swing, and I think that if you want to emulate a model of a golf swing, there's definitely a lot of components in this golf swing that you can utilize to create the best swing for your own game. Thanks for listening.